I am. Our entry music just keeps getting better every week. I'm loving it.
It's got more of a rock beat to it today.
Yeah, this is good. All right, gang. It is Monkey Business. It is that time of the week again, usually on a Wednesday, sometimes other days, or whenever the hell you want to listen to it. But we are here in the studios of WFC3 with all the usual suspects. I am your host, Chris, with Tanya, Billy, Becca, Wayne, Brian, and on the phone, the irrepressible and ever-present Sybil.
Hi.
There she is. You knew it was coming. Come on.
She's going to be in the studio in a couple weeks.
In a couple weeks, yeah. She's going to be in the studio. We're going to be able to pick on her, and she's going to be able to beat on us and all. It'll be good. It'll be good fun. It'll be like
then we can actually see her reactions.
Yes.
It's kind of hard to judge her reactions via the phone.
Oh, I've known Sybil for long enough that
so you can see the
I
reactions?
know her reactions pretty well. I can pretty much imagine what they're going to be half the time. You know, I know the eye roll.
Woo-hoo!
Oh.
Sorry. Got matching shirts.
Sybil, I need to tell you that Tanya and Becca are high-fiving each other because they just realized they wore the same T-shirt. It's basically a very artistic David Tennant rendering, and they just saw each other, and now they're really happy about that, which is good because it's a Doctor Who day.
Actually, I should have worn my Doctor Who T-shirt. I wasn't thinking.
I was thinking about
Bad
it.
job.
Bad form on all of us. I was thinking about wearing...
Bad wolf.
There you go. I was thinking about wearing my a Doctor Who shirt, but it's really cold out, so I throw a big, thick sweater on instead. So
It's warm here, though.
it is warm in the studio. I'm noticing that.
Yeah.
But that's all right.
Normally I'm cold, but not today.
And our hearts are warm. Anyway, well, most of them. I'm wondering about the intern today.
She's got the giggles today.
She's got the... It's not going to be hard to get Becca going today. So we're going to do a little armchair quarterbacking, which is what we in the geek world love to do the most. We always
We've
like
been
to
doing
say
a lot of that lately.
We have been doing that a lot lately, but that's because we think we have a valuable opinion.
Think.
We think we have a valuable
I'm
opinion.
glad you're 2 microphones away today.
See,
so,
yeah, I'm 2
yeah.
microphones away, so I'm safe from the reach of Tanya today. With the advent of Peter Capaldi's announcement that he is going to be stepping down from the part, we have...
No!
I know.
Sorry.
We have an opportunity to kind of talk about what we've thought about him so far, what we're hoping for his upcoming Series 10 that's going to start in April, and we're gonna brainstorm a little bit on who we would see taking over as the 13th Doctor. And so with that being said, I'm going to go to my fellow diehard Whovian at the other end of the table, my cohort in crime, Brian. And why don't you tell me a little bit about what you have thought about Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor?
I've actually loved it, and you and I are both go way back to when we were young,
Right.
watching, starting with probably Pertwee. I know Pertwee for me. I don't know if it was Pertwee or Baker for you. And the Doctor didn't act human back then. He wasn't human. He was better than human. He didn't necessarily call us pudding heads, but
Pudding brain.
Pudding brain. But he didn't have love interests and everything else. And I understand that that's part of what made the show popular when it came back. Not with Eccleston so much. He didn't really get a chance to develop. He
True.
only had the one season. But obviously Tennant and even Matt Smith, to an extent, you had love interest there. And I love the change back to a more classical Doctor, in my opinion. Unfortunately, a lot of the newer fans who don't know classic
Right.
Who
They weren't as open to what was going on.
are not as open to Capaldi's depiction of the part, because that's what they're used to, is that romantic thing, and that's what appealed to
And he's
them.
old.
And he's old.
And he's old, yes. But that part didn't bother me at all. I've seen old, young. I mean, I loved Tennant as the Doctor, so don't get me wrong from that perspective.
Yeah.
I just like to move back to the more classic Doctor.
Right, and I think I've said the same thing. You and I were in complete agreement when this guy first hit the scene. We were like, oh my God, he really is what we remember. And, for me, I do remember a couple of Pertwee episodes. I got into it with Tom Baker, the 4th. And as much as the rest of civilization did. And so to have Christopher Eccleston followed by David Tennant followed by Matt Smith, there was a certain kind of... There was almost a similarity between all three. There was a thread that kind of tied the three of them together. So to have this throwback to the classic series and help introduce the newer folks to what it used to be like.
It's really a reminder, he's not human. Remember that. He's not human.
Yeah. And to play the dashing young hero all the time, I think you risk, like if Matt Smith had been followed up by, I can't even think of somebody young at the moment, but we'll just say like a Heath Ledger type of person, then you run the risk of then every doctor has to be that way. And it's like, wait a minute, and then now that's a rut. And this show has never been about being in a rut. It's about renewing itself every so often and trying different paths and going and telling different stories or giving you new perspective on some of the same old things. So I don't know. How about you, Ton? What do you think over there?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen as many episodes as Capaldi as I've done with the other ones, so I'm a little behind the times with the newest.
Now, have you seen the most recent
Christmas
special with the superhero one? Did you see that?
I saw like the first hour and then I fell asleep.
Well, it wasn't that much longer.
It
wasn't much longer than an hour.
I don't know. I had a harder time grasping stuff in because there was stuff I didn't know from previous, so it was not one that really jumped out at me. So,
all right. Well, it's interesting perspective too. Anyway, how about you, Wayne?
I don't know. I kind of like you said, I kind of like the fact that he's older and that he's kind of a throwback to Hartnell and Troughton and Pertwee, and they all had that attitude, and they only became happy-go-lucky with Tom Baker. And
but he was still a lot more aloof than
but they started getting more reachable. And then when you had Peter Davidson, and he just came, I don't know if he just came off or he went to All Creatures Great and Small.
He just gotten off of All Creatures like a year or two before he became the Fifth Doctor.
So he had a following from that.
Right.
People, warm, cuddly veterinarian.
Well, my mom and I were joking about it because I was raised on PBS, and so watching All Creatures Great and Small was just a regular thing for my family as well.
We watched it.
And there was this great scene in All Creatures where Tristan Farnan was Peter Davidson's character, and he was known as a bit of a misfit, a little troublemaker sometimes. And he's in the pub at night, and he's got all of his friends around him, and they're all rip-roaring good and drunk. And he does his whole mad conductor bit. And he the pantomime and the faces that he was making and the way he was just presenting himself, it was almost like borderline Monty Python sketch. And so here I am watching him play the Doctor, and at any given moment in time, I'm expecting the Fifth Doctor to break into something completely wacky, to channel that mad conductor. And he never did. He always kept it kind of like just. He was calm, but then he would get a little riled, but he would always pull it back, and it was interesting to watch how the Fifth pulled it together like that. Anyway, so the people I have not talked to yet, I'm looking at you, Becca. You know it's coming. All right, now as a new fan, as a new fan, and then Sybil, I'm coming to you next. All right, so as a new fan, you watched Eccleston, you've watched Tennant, you've watched Smith.
Yeah.
And how much Capaldi have you watched?
I've seen like his first season.
Yeah, and what have you thought so far?
I didn't think it was terrible. It just didn't keep me as interested.
Okay, is there a reason for that? Is it the story or just the actor? Or?
It was a mix of both because Capaldi was just stark different, and that's not really a problem. Mm-hmm. But I've seen things online, and I can sometimes agree. I've seen people complain about how he treated Clara and how it wasn't as great as some people claimed. Mm-hmm. But it was more also just the storyline. I had trouble following it because it kept going in these weird directions, and I was...
Yeah, and that was Moffat, and I think Moffat was starting to run out of ideas at that point. So the fact that he chose to finally start making his exit might be a good thing for the show as well.
I agree. You can't stay on that long.
No. I mean, he's been with the show since it started, when Russell T. Davies brought Stephen Moffat on with him. So, Moffat's been there since the very beginning. You got to wonder if he's just running out of steam. Sybil, your thoughts on the whole... what we're talking about?
Well, I liked Capaldi. I didn't see a lot of his stuff, but I did see enough. And it does remind me of the old classic Doctor Who that I grew up watching.
Right.
So I really enjoyed that. But I can also see, as a younger fan, the appeal of the younger Doctors. Mm-hmm. So it would be nice to continue with an older-ish Doctor. Mm-hmm. But I can also see the appeal to want to expand the fandom a little bit more by bringing in a young Doctor next time. Okay.
Billy, you got any thoughts to share on this? I know it's not your strong suit, but I figured at least...
I've watched all of Eccleston, all of Tennant, most of Matt Smith. It was at that point that they took Doctor Who off of Netflix.
Oh, right.
And I started... They do have it on Amazon Prime, which I do have, but they don't have it in as good an order as Netflix. Like, you have to search for the Christmas specials. You have to...
Yeah, so I'm not fond of that either.
And to be honest with you, you know my OCD brain. If I can't watch everything in the
In
exact
the right order.
it has to be in.
And you don't want to ruin the experience for yourself, so you want to make sure
So
you're getting
I want
it.
to watch the DVD. I'm going to get the DVDs and watch them, but
I should really start collecting them myself.
There's so much other stuff out there. You wind up watching other things.
Yeah.
So, look, a new season of Sherlock.
Yeah.
And
Which I still have not seen
haven't
series
seen it
4.
either.
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
We're gonna have to.
That's
my
probably
mom,
the last series too.
Yeah. And
So
my
I didn't see any of Davidson, but
my mom blew my mind because she's like, oh yeah, I've watched all of Sherlock series 4. And she's going off on how much she loves Benedict Cumberbatch and his
dear.
performance. And I'm like, and she's asking me all these questions,
You're
and I'm like,
I haven't seen it yet.
Mom, I haven't seen series 4 yet. And she would just stare at me. She goes, but I thought you were the local expert, Christopher.
Oh, I can see her doing it
Oh
too.
man, yeah, she doesn't let me off the hook on anything. But that's a good mother for
so
you. That's a great
I
mother.
don't have an opinion.
No, okay, and that's fine. All right, so that's gonna lead us. So now we're really, because we've hinted at it on a couple of occasions, and I think it was Becca who made the comment, or I don't remember who made the comment. Sybil made the comment of older, younger, broader audience. So it's almost like selecting a next doctor is almost like selecting a presidential candidate to a point. You want to make sure you're getting the right demographic.
I'd make an excellent Doctor Who. Excellent.
Yes. Build a
You
wall around the
make
TARDIS.
Doctor Who great again.
No, we're not doing that.
I'm making Doctor Who great again.
But think about it. They like when they're selecting candidates, they're selecting from particular regions to try and hit particular
They
demographics.
always have to be English.
And they always, that's the definite. It has
But
to
you
be
could
Englishmen.
have an American doctor. Why would you not have an American
Well,
doctor?
I think the time for that is coming, but they have to cross a couple of other hurdles first. But I don't think.
Hey, it worked for Torchwood.
Yeah, but that was. I mean, they'd already established that character ahead of
was
time.
already-
Harkness was already established,
American.
and he's in essence a Scottish citizen, isn't he?
Yeah,
John
and-
Barrowman, or is he an American?
And they tried it
I
before
don't know.
when they brought the McGann series.
Yeah, but the McGann. No, don't even bring up the McGann series because Paul McGann
The
was
McGann movie
the
that was
McGann
supposed to
movie-
be a series.
He was an awesome doctor because I listened to a lot of his Big
Yeah.
Finish audio. Mm-hmm. But when you put the Americans in charge of something, it goes wrong.
Like I said, Torchwood.
Yes,
Yeah.
Miracle Day and Children of Earth. Yes.
Well,
So-
are you talking about the rumor that Steve Carell is going to play Doctor Who?
Steve Carell? You know
God.
what? You know what? That actually would be
I
sad.
was like, no.
No, that would be funny. I think.
No. Oh,
because he's really good at being a serious actor. He really is. He can play it off. I mean, people are used to the goofiness. And
What
they're used
about
to The
Will
Office.
Ferrell? Will
No,
Ferrell.
Will Ferrell, no.
No,
God,
Will
no.
Ferrell has
No.
done good.
No,
No.
Will Ferrell needs to be
No.
retired.
No.
Can
No,
we fire Wayne now?
I don't.
What was that movie where he was a writer?
Oh, Before and After, Everything Goes.
Yeah,
something
no,
like
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, but
that
I
was
just
a great
can't,
movie.
yeah,
I
no.
don't find
I think
Will Ferrell-
I would
I don't find him funny.
boycott it for
I don't
now.
find him
No.
good. I mean,
not a huge-
I'm sure he's a nice guy. I've never met him personally, so I can't say he's a dick or anything like that. But I have just never seen a performance of his that I've been like, all right, that was all right. I've never been excited about
So
watching.
we all agree it should be British, and it'll be Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais.
There we go.
I have an idea.
Go ahead, Brian. You take it from there.
His last regeneration, he regenerated into a character from a former.
From a former show,
show.
which he's done before.
I suggest they do it again, and Mark Shepard play the Doctor.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, he's got a very lucrative run as Crowley still going on, but yeah, I could see that happening.
Ooh.
You know, I could actually see Mark Crowley taking over as the Master
Mark
someday.
Shepard.
Or Mark Shepard, excuse me.
Yes.
I could see him playing the
He
Master
could do
someday.
either.
That
It
would
would
be
be
great.
great.
Be excellent as the master.
That would be phenomenal.
But I like Missy.
everyone in the fandom, start writing your letters now.
I like Missy.
Missy's fantastic,
Yeah,
but when
she's
Michelle
back.
Gomez finally, I heard she's going to be back for Series 10. But when Missy Gomez finally she wants to step down from playing the part. I mean,
They're all regenerating.
Anthony
into-
Ainsley, he played the Master for almost 20 years.
Yeah, and
Roger Delgado,
and is
too.
it actually, here's a question I'll pose to everybody. Did he actually regenerate? I don't think he actually regenerated.
You never
It's
see him.
His life force goes into a ring or something else, and then whoever picks it up becomes the Master. I don't think
Except
he
for
actually
the
regenerated
Time
in
Lords
this.
and the Five Doctors gave him a new set of regenerations.
Oh, he even hinted that I still think that the Master still has regeneration cycles at his or her disposal at this point. I can't think of his name right now. The gentleman who played Sims.
Yeah.
Which was brilliant. The turn of being opposite David Tennant's Doctor.
Right.
It was just amazing. But he even made us, when they resurrected me, he made that implication when he was talking about the Time Lords. When they resurrected me, they knew what they were getting. So if the Time Lords can just hand out regeneration cycles like candy.
Well, they did to the doctors.
Yeah, they did it to the doctor. So I'm assuming that I don't think it went from Sim's master to Missy Gomez's master by some sort of transference. I think it was a regeneration.
But didn't the doctor burned Sim's body, right? And you see, a female
yeah, but he found a way. That whole arc, you find it coming back. He came back, and I think that's.
I think it was me. I think it was Missy picking up the ring, and that's how she became the master.
Well, that's a fan theory. I'll chuck that one up. You never know.
Well,
you may never know.
To the point that of being seriously opposed to a female playing the doctor. That's my stance.
You're say it again because I didn't hear.
I'm opposed to a female playing the doctor.
Okay.
Why? Just because we can? I don't think that's reasonable.
and I've voiced my opinion of it.
No, when Romana was regenerating, she regenerated into a female, she regenerated into a male, she regenerated into some other alien type. So you can regenerate into anything you want.
If you can control it. I mean, Romana
that's what they were saying.
Much more educated than the doctor.
And she just said, what about this? No, what about that? And she just kept trying on new coats.
I think that was also a visual gimmick because the script editor at the time was Douglas Adams, who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So I think that was him having a bit of fun. Mm-hmm. But the long and the short of it, and I have voiced my opinion on podcasts in the past. I would prefer it if a female did not play the part because I think that's just... It's almost gimmick at this point. People want a female doctor, okay, but what would be the point of doing that other than... Sorry. That's all right. Billy's receiving a very important phone call. What would be the point other than just trying to track that demographic and say, oh, yeah, look what we can do.
But Doctor Who fandom is a lot of women already.
Right.
And as I've said, let me just finish this thought before everybody jumps in on me for a change of pace. Jesus, I can't finish a thing these days.
You're right.
Stop it, including a pizza. Anyway.
I had pizza the other night.
There you go. Shut up. No, the point still stands. I mean, I'm not thrilled with the idea of them making the doctor a woman. However, I've maintained on several occasions, if it happens, I'll be okay with it. I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to watch the show anymore because they did. I wouldn't do that. That would be stupid. But I will say this. If they decide to go with a female actor to play the part, you can't... As much as I love Haley Atwell, and there's this big upswell of support for her, she would be the wrong choice because to go from the classic old... I mean, he's a 2,000-year-old man to suddenly be a hot young woman, that's too jarring, too fast, and I think it sends the wrong message. That's sending the wrong message. But so let's brainstorm then. Now that we've said all that, and let's start throwing some ideas around. And I'm going to look at Becca first, and then I'm going to go to Sybil because I don't want Sybil to ever feel like she's forgotten because we could never do that. So Becca, you tell me who. And gender doesn't matter. You can throw it out there. Who's the next doctor, in your opinion?
I'm not well versed in the world of actors. I've just seen
Come
people.
On. Say parts that you. If you watched a movie and said, "Hey, that guy,"
yeah, that guy,
or that girl.
I've seen the stuff for Haley Atwood, but I see your point
on
not having it be immediately the next one. Maybe in like regeneration or two. But the thing is, I noticed that with regenerating from Matt to Capaldi, it went from the really young to the really old because it's starting a new regeneration. And it seemed like the trend was they'd get younger as regenerations go on. So you could go a bit younger. You don't have to be like 50 to 20 or something. Yeah. That'd be weird.
I think, and Madame Vostra said something to Clara early on in that first In Deep Breath, where the veil was lifted. He didn't have to be the dashing young man anymore. He is an old man. He's been through a lot. You need to see him for who he is. And I thought that was a brilliant way to kind of explain why you went from Matt Smith to Peter Capaldi. You need to see him for who he is. And now you can start bouncing around again. Sybil, what do you think? Do you have any ideas so far?
I actually have a couple.
Go for it.
If we're going young,
yeah,
I actually think Rupert Grint.
Okay.
Ron
Weasley.
Potter, yeah.
Yes. And if we're going older, I'm thinking Alexander Siddig. The doctor from Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Or Idris Elba.
Yes.
Idris Elba is also. I see him on a lot of lists. I see him often popping up on playing the next Doctor list, and I think he would be phenomenal. And that would be breaking down a barrier because definitely an African American doctor that would be interesting to see for a change of pace. There are lots of. I guarantee in the next few years, over the next couple of generations, you're going to see a Harry Potter kid somewhere pop up along the line.
There has been. Oh, no. That
No,
was
as the Doctor.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, as the Doctor. I'm telling you, you're going to see a Harry Potter kid pop up. Daniel, Rupert, Tom Felton, I think would probably... Matthew, what's his name, who played Neville?
Yeah, Malfoy.
Longbottom.
Malfoy's Tom Felton.
is Malfoy.
Yeah, Neville Longbottom. I would even see somebody like the kid who played Dean Thomas, who's done a turn on How to Get Away with Murder on ABC. Mm-hmm. I could see him popping in. Hell, if we're going to talk about it, let's even throw Emma Watson on the list because I think she'd be an incredibly capable actress to take the part.
But they're all coming to America where they can make money.
And do you not see Doctor Who as a global cash cow at this point, Wayne? What more does that show have to do for
that doesn't make as much money as an episode of Big Bang Theory.
Okay, but fine. Let me play this straight off on you, and this is where I think you're wrong. All right, and that's hard for me to say to you.
No, I don't.
All right, I know you don't care because you're cool like that. But this is very difficult for me to say. You're wrong because you seldom are. But look at it this way.
About a lot.
You look at it this way. Doctor Who for the Doctor may not be as lucrative episode per episode basis as it would be for Big Bang Theory, for Friends, for things like that. But you do a good turn as the Doctor, and you are set for life. Because then you've got reruns. You've got
I don't think reruns.
Appearances, conventions.
I don't think reruns count. As
you got box sets. You got
States.
memorabilia. Your face is going to be on T-shirts all over the world.
Yeah.
So I think, and also the door opens to you because
yes, you can do other things.
You can do whatever the hell you want at that point.
Now,
you can do whatever the hell you want because Matt Smith has a very nice career evolving at this point because nobody knew who he was before Doctor Who. Nobody knew, and now boom, you can't get enough of him.
I'm going to throw a name in there. Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth Branagh as the Doctor?
No, he wouldn't take. That's too low for him. He's done movies. He's done Hamlet. He's done good stuff. I could
see Kenneth Branagh doing like a guest bit, like he pops in.
Yeah, I don't see him being the Doctor.
No, I don't see. Yeah, I agree with you. I think he'd be a very capable actor to do the part. I'd love to see him try. I think that'd be hilarious. But
what about Hugh Laurie?
Hugh Laurie,
he's on my list.
Yeah, Hugh Laurie's on the list,
along with Rowan Atkinson. From Blackadder days.
Yeah. Mr. Bean.
They have Simon Pegg on the list.
Simon Pegg. Yeah, that would be awesome. Man, talk about a trifecta. He's been in Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who. That would, and he was in a Christopher Eccleston two-parter. So yeah, he's got his foot in the door.
Now, a name I haven't seen on any lists, but because we were just talking about Sherlock, Martin Freeman.
That would be phenomenal.
Oh,
that would be a phenomenal part for him to play. I think
that would be a great part.
Bilbo Baggins.
Schmog. No, that's Benedict.
Yeah, Benedict was Schmog. Also, his tour as the intelligence director in the Avengers movies. Now he's been popping up on the Marvel Universe. Sherlock. He was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He played Arthur Dent,
and he was on the original British version of The Office.
There you go.
Where he was young and he was the young cute guy. That's how long ago that was.
That's a hell of a pick.
He was the original, Jim in America, but Tim in the BBC version.
Gotcha. Sybil, you got anybody on your list else that we haven't talked about yet?
No, the only other person on my list was Hugh Laurie.
Okay, and that name's popped up.
Mm-hmm.
Tanya, how about you?
I have not a clue.
No clue?
No clue.
Nothing at all?
No.
Come on.
You see, the thing is, I don't think this far ahead. This is why I don't do well at chess, because I can't think 12 moves ahead.
Well, in that case, we got to play sometime. Because I'm really bad at chess. I used to be.
Oh, I might win then.
Yeah, you might win.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was popping on the web and kind of looking to see, but it's like Becca. I'm like, I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm going to throw a couple of names out there. Ben Whishaw, who played Q in the recent James Bond movies. He's actually, in most of the boards that I've found, he seems to be the front runner, which means he probably won't get the part because the front runners tend not to. Whishaw is how you spell his last name. But and then Richard Madsen, who played Robb Stark in Game of Thrones.
Oh,
the young
why not
wolf.
have Ned Stark?
Sean Bean.
Sean Bean.
Well, it would work out because eventually he would die. Yeah, so you have to regenerate. I would also, and this is the nostalgia in me. You've had John Pertwee play the third Doctor. I think Sean Pertwee should play the 13th. His son. And Sean has great admiration for the show and the fans.
And he dresses up like
he dresses up like his father's character at Halloween every so often. Come on, how can he? I mean, he's got the voice. He's got the look.
Now I know who he is.
Yeah.
I had no idea
Yeah,
who he
he's-
was.
he's,
He's Alfred in Gotham.
Alfred in Gotham. Yep.
I can see that now.
He's phenomenal.
I
He's
love him
phenomenal.
in
I love
Gotham.
that guy. I have never seen Sean Pertwee in a part that I have not liked. But I'm going to fire off 2 more ideas.
He turned down a part in Doctor Who.
Yes, he did. Because he's waiting, I think. I think he's waiting. I do. I think in the back of his head, he's been thinking about it. Eventually, he would want to do it. I think so. He's just about the same age his father was when his father played the part.
Oh, wow.
All he needs is a cape.
He could do whatever the hell he wants. He could dress up in a trench coat, and I still think he was awesome. All right, so a couple more of my ideas. I said Ben Whishaw. I said Sean Pertwee. Robert Carlyle from Stargate Universe. The Full Monty, Once Upon a Time.
Oh, yeah.
Train Spotting.
Full Mountie. Yeah,
So I mean,
that.
he's a great Scottish actor. I think he would bring a certain kind of panache to the part.
He's what's his name? And Mr. Gold.
Yep, Mr. Gold, Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh.
And then my last suggestion for the guys, and I do have a couple of suggestions for female actors as well. But my last guy, Jason Fleming, who was in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He was a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. He played Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And then he was also in the British series Primeval, which I thought was a lot of. It was very underrated. I thought that was a lot of fun. But you see him as a character actor. He's been around in a lot of things, and I think he'd do a really good turn. So
I'm sorry to break in.
No,
Chris,
go ahead.
Chris, I think when you touch it, you're causing crackles on the microphone.
I am so admonished.
If you're hearing,
that's me.
That's sort of you.
That's me.
I've been looking around trying to figure out which one.
My hands are in my lap.
I'm fidgety today. I don't know why, but I'm more fidgety than I usually am.
Sugar.
I have just as much caffeine as I usually do.
It's his French vanilla cappuccino with
Shut
the
up, you know
whipped
what?
cream that was added to it.
Go away.
The doctor would be ashamed.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't care.
Actually, you just brought up a character name. I want to throw a little piece of trivia in. If you've listened to the radio show I work on in the last week, maybe you've heard it or seen it on Facebook. Last week I watched the 1941 version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Okay.
Won Academy Award for Frederick March. But through the whole movie, they referred to him as Dr. Jekyll with a
Jekyll?
long E.
Yep.
So is it really Dr. Jekyll?
I have no idea.
I saw your post on that, Billy.
Yeah.
Is it Dr. Jekyll
Jekyll?
and Mr. Hyde?
Well,
or did they make it up for that movie?
I'm going to. Yeah, I think they probably just made it up for that
No,
movie.
then you
'cause-
have to watch the rest of the movies because he was in. There was more than one movie with
Dr. J.
Dr.
Sorry, I
J.
just channeled my inner Harley there, didn't I?
Okay, sorry about that.
My bad. My bad. All right.
Female doctors.
Female doctors. See, if you're going to do it, if they're going to make that call and they're going to say, all right, the next one is going to be a woman. We're going to throw this whole series on its ear and change the paradigm of it forevermore. You would have to go with somebody. I can't. Like I say, if you go young and hot like Haley Atwell, or a couple of the other selections they've come up with. I can't remember the names off the top of my head.
Margot Robbie.
No.
Why
No.
not?
No.
Why not?
She's a very capable actress. She's awesome. She is a great actress. So I'm not
She's
going.
English?
I'm not going. No, she's Australian.
Same thing.
I'm not. No, it's not. It's not the same thing, Wayne.
They were rejects from England.
Wow.
They got sent to.
They were in the penal colony.
I've never said this in the months.
And her companion, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, there you go. In the months that I've known this man on this podcast, I've never said it. I'm going to say it twice in the same day. You're wrong, dude. No.
Okay, that's the second time. Do we need to fire him?
No, I'm not going to fire Wayne.
No, because they were English and then he got sent off to the
All right.
penal colony.
I
so
don't
they were
need, but
English.
now they're their
and
own.
It was a colony.
Yeah, well, we were
we're
English then.
too, but yeah.
No, we're not.
And that's
Technically, we are.
we're technically English.
Then how come the Queen don't do something?
Yeah, because he told her to go away.
revolution.
He told her to go away.
Way back
Actually,
in
told him to go away at the time.
1776.
Yeah.
Do we have to go
Anyway.
back to American
King
history?
No, you can't go young
And
and
it is
hot. You
Jekyll.
can't go young and hot with the first female doctor. You can't do it. You can't do it because that is just going to be a gimmick play, and you're going to
That would
cheapen.
be a real gimmick
You're
play.
going to cheapen the significance of that kind of a moment. You're going to cheapen it by just making it young, by making her young and hot,
And then you give her a baseball bat.
and then then there you go.
Instead
And
of a
that's just
sonic screwdriver, she
yeah,
has a baseball
and then
bat.
she's going to start coloring her hair. Hi, Mr. Master. How you doing? I can be very vexing. Yeah, no.
In that case, Hunter.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Getting back, it is actually
all right.
Chico, not Jocko.
legit suggestions. If you're going to do this, if you're going to turn, like I said, you're going to turn the paradigm on its ear. You're going to have to pick somebody particularly, in my opinion, spectacular who can ride the part without making it a gimmick. So 3 names come to the top of my head right off the bat: Judi Dench.
Yes, Dame Judi Dench.
Helen Mirren. Tilda Swinton.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, those are the 3 off the top of my head. On an outside shot, Gillian Anderson.
No, she's
American.
companion.
She's English. She played American for X-Files. I'm fairly certain she's English.
Really?
Yes. Now, another frontrunner on the boards that I don't agree with, Helena Bonham Carter. Bellatrix Lestrange comes to mind. All of the parts in the Tim Burton movies she's played,
she could be a good master.
I think she would be an excellent master in the shoes of Missy Gomez, kind of
You know how
crazy.
you've told Wayne that he's wrong?
Yeah.
Gillian Anderson was born in Chicago,
Really?
Illinois.
Because I
so
heard
you're wrong.
Oh, you know what?
There you go, Wayne.
Here's
I
the
helped
thing.
you out.
Here's the thing about this podcast series is nobody's been afraid to point that out to me over the past many months, and I've gotten used to it. It's okay. I'm in therapy for it. It's fine. No.
But it says that she's an American-British film type thing, so I'm assuming one of her parents
I think
British.
I think there is some sort of. I keep wanting to fiddle with the microphone. I'm sorry, Bill.
Well, that's like one of the things I want to see is a real American companion.
Yeah,
they've never had a real. Perry was,
but she wasn't American.
Perry was an American.
American.
She was born in Boston and raised in England. And it's like, no. I want to see American, except for the McGann movie.
Yeah.
This is why she was born in Chicago, and then she moved to Puerto Rico, and then to London, England.
Okay.
Her father could attend the London Film School, so she spent her childhood growing up in the...
Because I remember what threw me off
but
is...
she's actually American.
What threw me off the most about her, and that's why I suggested that she might be English, is she was doing an interview about X-Files towards the end of the run of the show when it was getting close to winding up the first time. And she was doing an interview, and she was speaking with a British accent the entire time during the interview. And I was like, wait, she's English? Wait, what? You know, that kind of a thing. So that's why I was thinking Gillian Anderson. But regardless of that, that would be, woman and American. Well, that'd be an interesting little paradigm there. But like I said, Helen Mirren, Tilda Swinton, Judi Dench.
Let me throw a name at you.
Go ahead.
Lala Ward.
Wow. Ooh. Is she still an active actress, though?
I don't know, but...
She's married to...
the second Romana.
What's his name?
She was married to Tom Baker, but it was briefly.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. Dawkins.
Oh, yeah.
The scientist. She's married to him. Maybe.
Yeah, they just separated, according to Wikipedia, they just separated.
Well, if she's still active and wants the part, I'd give her a crack at it. Or at least, you know what? I would like, now that you bring her up.
Any of the companions.
Now that you bring her up, I would like to see some sort of return to Romana. I would like to see her pop up once in a while.
It would be. She was the president of the Time Lords at one point, wasn't she?
Yeah, during the McGann Big Finish audio series, she was the Lord President of the Time Lords.
So she must have had a big deal with the Time War.
Yeah, she must have. That would have been an interesting story to tell, especially the fact that she was not, and Rassilon was the president. But
don't forget, Timothy Dalton's been Doctor. No, he's been Rassilon.
He was Rassilon. Yeah. So I don't think he'd go back to a James Bond at this point. So have we burned this particular topic out at this stage?
I got a couple of guys.
Go for it.
Lenny Henry.
No, you're wrong.
He was a doctor in a he did a doctor spoof on his show.
Lenny Henry. What else has he been in? I don't know that name.
He did an English television show, comedy show back in maybe the 80s, 90s. And one of the spoofs he did was he was a doctor.
Oh, yeah?
And then Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I mean, he's gotten pretty old at this point,
but
though.
He's still around.
Holy
Robbie Coltrane.
cow.
Robbie, okay. Hagrid.
Yep.
All right.
John Rice Davies. Gimli.
All right. So I see you're going back to the old white man idea.
Oh, no.
Well, except for Lenny Henry.
Yeah.
All right.
I like Lenny Henry.
I'd never heard the man, so I'm going to have to do some research on him.
He'd be like Idris Elba.
Okay.
So.
All right. Sybil, how about you? Got anything else? Anything we've popped up? A thought that has kind of crossed your mind while we've been talking here?
No. I think everything got covered pretty well.
Yeah.
She's afraid that we're going to tell her that she's wrong and that she'll get fired.
No. Sybil, you're wrong. See? There, we got it out of the system.
But we're not firing her whatsoever.
I can't be fired.
No, you can't be.
No.
We need you too much. All right. Well, then you know what? We'll wrap this particular topic up. We'll move to topic number 2. We'll put a pin in this one, and we'll see how it goes. And when they finally do make an announcement on who,
we'll see if we were right in one of the.
We'll see if any of the names we came up with were even close.
Lenny Henry was Doctor Who in 1985.
In 1985.
Yeah.
During like a spoof or a
Yeah,
parody.
he did a spoof on his show.
Okay. Is there a YouTube of that so we can look that up?
Yeah,
I'll look.
Okay.
I got it.
All right, and we'll throw it up onto our Facebook too. So once this podcast gets published, we'll do that. So we'll move on to topic 2 at this point, and we'll go completely in a different direction on it, and we'll just have a little bit of fun. We'll wrap up this particular hour of the day with talking about something completely off the cuff.
And now for something completely different.
And now for something completely different.
So we're going to just continue this and not start again?
Yeah. What?
So we're just going to stop and then continue and not do the out.
No, we're just going to keep going. We can just keep talking.
Oh, okay.
Just keep talking because I think the next topic is not going to be enough for a full half hour.
Oh,
I don't think so. At least.
You don't know us very well.
I was going to say.
I know you all too well.
You just spent 2 minutes making the transition.
I did. Should we kill it? Should we just kill it?
I think we need to kill it and then start
all right,
fresh.
we're gonna kill it. So okay, fine. I'm wrong again.
Shall I stab it, Doctor?
All right, Leela. All right. So then next week you'll get to hear more.
That's who I want for Doctor Who, Benny Hill.
Benny Hill.
Oh my God.
We would have to resurrect him.
Just running around,
oh my
chasing
God.
the companion.
So this was a mess. This was not monkey. This was Monkey Business.
It really was.
A production of Mighty Monkey Productions, the presenters of the Flower City Comic Con, coming at you for their second show, May 20th and 21st, 2017, at the Rochester Riverside Convention Center. Like us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/FC3ROC. Like the page, and then you get to keep touch with all of these great podcasts.
Send us some more information.
Send us some more information because obviously we're all wrong.
At least today we are.
And then I got another topic down the road. All right, we'll talk to you next week.
Oh, man, they used to
Yeah.